3D, 오, 잠깐만, 이거는 좀. 아, 네, 감사합니다. 네, 감사합니다. 이거 내일 합시다. 이거 내일 하고. 이거 내일 합시다. 이거 또 긴 거 같은데? 내일 할까? 지금 해버릴까? 아, 참. 3D 게임이군요. 아니, 좀비 게임 아니에요. 여봐, 힐링 게임이라니까. 아이, 무슨. 에디스 핀치. 나름 그래픽이.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
처음부터 시작하지, 집부터. 응? 나름 3D. 나쁘지 않은데?
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
응? 이거 힐링 게임 맞아? 잠깐만.
My brother
Missing.
Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
공포 게임 아니에요? 때리는 거 뭐야?
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
점프. 보통 점프 때리는 거 오른쪽 누르면 확대가 되네요. 잠깐만. 그래픽. 수직 동기화 켤게요. 됐고. 힐링 게임이 만져.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent,
긴급.
open immediately.
7년 전 청구서. 아, 그래 넣어버리기? 그대로 넣어버리.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
루이스 오빠 장례식 이후 돌아오지 않았어. 내가 뭐 되게 오래된 집 같은 건가 봐요. 오이씨.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
열쇠. 이것도
Maybe
약간
she
퍼즐
thought I'd
게임
know.
같네요.
Or she thought the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
아, 여기가 핀치군요. 어디로 가는 거지? 왠지 위쪽 같은데 이쪽으로 한번 가보죠. 이쪽 길은 아닌 것 같은데? 이쪽 길은 아닌 것 같은데? 좀 으악 하는 거 아니야? 그래픽이 약간 포레스트 느낌이야 지금 그래픽이. 다리로 가면 되는 건가? 아, 저
The
위로.
woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something but never do.
이렇게 어두워? 어둑어둑해? 또 가는 길이 하나로 좀 모여지긴 하네요. 새벽 같은 느낌이네요. 새벽. 숨어.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
집은 되게 뭐야 집. 집 고델이네요.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
근데 나 진짜 방송 제목도 안 바꿨는데 괜찮겠지. 괜찮겠지. 보고 계신 분들은 다 알고 있으니까.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the
17세다.
house.
17세고 7년 전에 갔다 그랬죠? 애들도 무섭대요. 들어가야 되나? 미싱. 다 실종된 일단 여기로 들어가는 것 같은데 겉에 먼저 한번 슬쩍 파밍해 봅시다. 예, 17살이면 애기긴 한데 겉에 뭐가 있나 한번 파밍 한번 해볼게요. 재활용. 별거 없네? 그냥 들어가면 되는 건가 봐.
I heard something moving
뭐야?
around in the garage.
뭔가 움직이는 소리. 날씨라도 좀 맑지? 저 좀 가기 싫으네요. 가기 무서워. 머리를 깨끗하게 비워줄 때.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
아, 안 열리네. 밀어.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
닫고. 왜 온 거야? 오질 말지 차라리. 그럼 돌아가야지 어쩔 수 없이. 이쪽은 막힌 것 같은데. 점프 없고. 창고 쪽으로 가야겠네요. 마음의 준비? 이쪽 문 또 있죠? 요거 아닐까, 요거? 개구멍? 역시. 오, 뭐야, 파란색.
Prowling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
자, 아빠 차? 근데 여기 소리가 났다며. 무기 하나 들어. 불 켜고.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
왜 떠난 거죠? 왜 떠난 거야? 공? 톱. 톱이라도 하나 들어봐. 벤치 하나. 이렇게 오래된 집은 누가 살고 있을 수 있어요.
For
어떤
the
모르는
first
사람이
time in
그냥.
years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
추억만 남아 있었다. 그래도 뭔가 깨끗한데? 캔이 이렇게 많아?
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
7년 전 깡통 조림 먹을 수 있죠. 그래도 7년 전 먹을 수 있나? 통조림은 오래 보관 가능하잖아요. 뭐야?
Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we had Chinese a lot.
불 좀 켤 수 없나? 와, 참치캔 맛이.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
그건 진짜 뭐가 너무 많네. 많아도. 방금 사람이 살다가 나간 것 같아.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
밀턴 오빠가 지금
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
폭풍 같았던 마지막 밤. 와, 이거 뭐야? 여기 뭐 완전 봉인됐는데 이건? 봉인된. 와, 좀 괴기스럽네요. 완전 실리콘 쳐놨어. 실리콘 쳐놓고 못으로 박아놓고 그 주변을 책으로. 2층도 있고요. 저 위에 갇혀 있는 거 아니야? 오빠?
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
아, 지하실로 가는 문이군요. 아, 지하실 무서우니까 좀 이따 갑시다.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
잠깐, 산소통. 아, 오빠가 건강이 안 좋았나 보네.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
증조 할머니. 아, 증조 할머니가 여기 앉았던 자리인가 봐요.
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
에디. 그럼 오빠 이름이 에디였나? 이거 내가 들어오면 되지. 깜짝이야. 오빠 이름이 에디였나요?
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
에디가 뭐야? 응? 에디가 오빠겠죠? 다윈 핀치. 여기
Mom always
그러게요.
told me to stay out of the basement.
가지
so I
말라 했기 때문에
wasn't
열쇠가
too
맞지 않는
surprised
것은
when the
그리
key
놀랄
wouldn't
일이
fit.
아니었다. 지하에 왜 가지 말랐을까? 지하에 왜 가지 말랬을까?
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
침실을
Then Edie
잠궜다고?
retaliated and drilled peepholes.
보복으로. 침실을 잠그고 보복을. 다 진짜. 뭐야? 이 전선들은 또 뭡니까?
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
에디 아버지? 봐봐라.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
뭐지? 볼 수 있네요. 뭐야?
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
바바라는 무슨 배우였나 봐요. 1층에도 저 문이 있었잖아요. 한번 보고 옵시다. 지금처럼. 그러니까 한번 보고 올게요. 이게 무슨 문인지. 문이 다 이렇게 돼 있지? 아, 되게 보이는구나.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
매장돼 있다고? 근데 방을 저렇게 밀봉해 놓은 이유가 뭘까? 열려 있어요, 여기는요. 몰리?
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
아니, 죽으면 죽었지. 왜 문을 이렇게 걸어 잠그고 완전 공기도 안 통하게.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
가끔 자.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns
열어봐.
out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
오이?
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
오이? 가봅시다.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
이거 뭐야? 통로.
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
오씨, 해골 바가지 있는 거 아니야?
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
지금 몰리 방에 온 거죠, 지금.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
몰리네 방.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
저 의자 다행히 아무도 없네요. 의자에 뭐 있을까봐 지금 일부 그쪽을 안 갔거든요, 지금. 아무것도 없죠? 뭐 불가사리는 왜 자른 거야? 약간 곤충을 좋아하나 봐요. 몰리 핀치.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I
뭐지?
woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
아니 왜?
Mom, can I come out now?
엄마가
It's late. Go to sleep.
엄마가 잠근 거잖아요, 지금. 밀봉해 버렸네, 애를. 와, 뭐야? 아, 이걸 붕어를 먹는 건 아니지. 붕어를 먹는 건 아니고. 배가 고프대요.
I kept eating and eating.
어? 야, 이거 치약인데? 야, 왜 이래?
I ate a lot of things that night.
먹으면 안 될 것 같은데? 애가 좀 이상한가 봐요. 변기물 마시고 아니고.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
설마.
I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
응?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
갑자기 고양.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
뭐지? 지금 새 잡으러 가는 거잖아요.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up,
잡았다.
and suddenly I was an owl.
응?
First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
사냥하는 꿈을 꾸네요.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
어우, 끔찍해.
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
꿈이야 꿀 수 있죠. 꿈이야 꿀 수 있는데. 특이하네.
A mama rabbit.
엄마 토끼?
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
뭐야? 아니, 응? 아 뭔데? 갑자기 나무에 걸려요?
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
아니,
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
아니. 아우, 튀기면서 가는 거 봐.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
뭐야? 갑자기 다 문어 됐어.
Now I was a monster and I smelled people everywhere.
괴물 됐다고? 초능력자인가? 그래서 엄마가 장가 놓은 걸까요? 그 오징어 아니에요, 오징어? 대왕 오징어?
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
아니, 사람까지 잡아먹네 이제. 뭐야? 여기서 엄마가 가져놓은 건가? 어디야? 이쪽 아닌가? 아, 올라가는 길이 있었군요.
I wanted to stop, but also I
다
didn't.
죽었어. 이리 와봐.
Belly with a rusty, belly with a rusty. It came about a midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their hearts of gold. We saw the earth goodwill to men from heaven's salvation the world.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
일단 힐링 게임은 아닌 것 같아요. 힐링 게임은 네, 네, 실수한 것 같은데 힐링 게임은 아닌 것 같아. 자, 병기로 나왔네요.
I got closer and closer.
아, 이거 나 아니야? 나잖아, 몰리는. 어떻게 가야 되지? 아니, 분위기 뭐야? 뭘 해야 되는 걸까요, 여기서? 위로 올라갈 수 없나? 아, 저 아래로 가는 거구나.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. It's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
화면 밝아지니까 너무 좋네요.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would
아,
have.
가게도인가 보군요. 아, 1937부터 1947. 뭐야? 되게 옛날에 살았던 애잖아요. 그럼. 됐고. 오컬트 하긴 하네요. 힐링 게임 아니었습니다. 예, 죄송해요. 고양이 있는 거 아니야? 잠깐만, 일로 딴 데로 갈 수 있구나.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though,
뭔가
when we
나영이었던
adopted
것
a stray
같아요.
kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
에디의 증조 할머니?
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse
집을
behind.
가지고 바다로 떠났다는 건 뭔 얘기야 이게? 저주로 탈출하기 위해 가족 그리고 그의 집을 가지고 바다로 떠났다?
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore in their new home. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
끝난 거군요. 예, 끝났네. 이거 어떻게 나가지? 떼고.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
되게 옛날 사람이네요. 온다잉. 상어 있다.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
화장실. 뭘까요?
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
분홍색 욕실 참
It was a
좋네요.
pretty big trace.
와, 이렇게 나쁘진 않은데? 화장실의 비밀.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
어? 책이 어디 갈 때 꼭 역할을 해주네요.
Sven
책이.
gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
현상실 같은 곳인가 본데요. 나오는 건 없네.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
잠깐 밀튼. 오빠가 밀튼인데 여기 왔다가 괜히 파헤치다가 죽은 거 아니야?
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
이 전기는 뭘까요? 전기 아니구나. 전기선 올라가고 있죠. 저 분홍색 전기선. 커맨드 센터. 남자애들 냄새가 풀풀 나네. 이쪽도 올라가는 길이 있고. 커맨드 센터 쪽으로 가봅시다.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
오, 야, 잘 구분한다.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
응? 다리 작살 났군요.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
버섯을 안 먹을 거다.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
어지러워.
Sam, coffee, dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
날 거라고?
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
완전 회전한다고 그대로? 남자애들이 다치는 데 이유가 있죠.
Not gonna tell you again.
or maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
우와.
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
야야야야.
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's
오유.
what I want to remember about my brother.
날아가나요? 오, 얘 90도 넘었어. 오. 오, 돌았어.
The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the
아,
exact
그래서
same
죽었군요.
thing.
잠깐만. 이게 잠깐만. 가게도 보니까 50년부터 61년이 11살에 죽은 거야. 11살에 죽었어. 아니 근해 360도 돌다가 날아가지고 죽었어요. 참.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
아. 샘포트 아주 되게 뭐죠? 아무것도 없네? 저쪽으로 갈 수 없나?
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
와, 또 뭐야? 어이? 아니, 무슨 집에 이런 걸 만들어놔?
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
이건 뭐지? 봐봐라.
I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
아, 저 문을 왜 저렇게 해놓은지 아직도 이해가 안 가네. 얘 왜 죽었을까? 이거 왜 죽었는지가 나오는 것 같아요.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family.
바르바라 핀치의
I'm calling it
놀라운 결말?
The surprise ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream.
비명소리로 유명했다.
Now at 16, she was all washed up. A
Yes, sir.
has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So
아니.
Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box.
오르골 열쇠가 숨겨져
Secret
있다.
is to keep winding
아, 계속 감는 것이
and
핵심.
winding until
오,
finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
계속 감아야 되는군요.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
재밌는데? 재밌는데?
She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
내가 또 조정을 하는 거군요. 나름 잘 만들었습니다, 게임.
rattled and grew still.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show.
아니
Hours
무슨
later,
목발을
Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
뭐야? 해골바가지 뭡니까? 할로윈인가? 아 그렇게 은근 나름 전개 방식이 되게 독특하네요. 뭔가 무서운 것 같으면서도 안 무서워. 월터가 어디더라?
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are
경찰
urged to
갈고리.
lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
만화책 되게 재밌어.
He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
그냥 근래 본 만화책 중에 제일 재밌습니다 지금.
There's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
역할을 바꾸기로 했다고? 어디로 가야 되는 거지? 나가야 되나?
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow.
앗!
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
제 남친은 아니야 근데? 왠지 남친 같다? 아 근데 롤러블레이드 하고 죽은 것도 뭐 황당하네요.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
뭐야? 어디 갔지?
Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
어?
Oh dear.
와씨.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
뭐야?
Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
아, 귀가 있다고?
That's what I call a real eerie tale.
해석 무엇? 아, 재밌게 잘 봤습니다, 만화책. 아, 재밌네.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
자, 재밌습니다. 됐고, 한 명씩 왜 죽었는지 밝혀나가는 거구만. 됐고, 바바라는 됐죠? 그리고 아까 들어올 길에 나간 뭐지? 옆으로 가는 길이 하나 또 있었거든요. 인형도 있네, 바바라. 가봅시다.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
오르골을 트는 걸 왜 싫어했는지 알 것 같다고. 자, 됐고. 지우로 올라가면 되나 보죠?
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
갈 데가 오르골로 가볼까요?
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
그러니까 오르골 한번 갑시다. 오르골 저 아래 여기 2층이니까 1층으로 갈게요. 진짜 나오면 소름이다. 이거죠? 갑시다. 잡고 돌려. 여기 뭐 만들다 맞는 것 같은데? 아, 톱.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
뭐 별거 아니고 도구들이 많아서 그런 거 아니야? 위험해서 그런 것 같은데? 단순히?
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
꾸러미를 들고 지하실로 내려간 거 단 한 번 본 적 있다. 너무 깜깜한데요? 저 거의 안 보이거든요?
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
응? 지하실이 있네?
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
오, 아, 여기 벙커군요. 야, 나름 핵전쟁에 대비하셨네요.
If there's a pattern in all these stories,
와, 식료품을 이렇게.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
월터.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
뭐지?
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
똑같은 하루가 반복되는 건가? 76년.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just
2005년? 아니죠.
stopped.
자, 팔에 검버섯이 점점 늘어나네요.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
아니, 뭐 30년 동안 이러고 있어. 황도만 먹고 있어요.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
떠난다고?
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara,
바바를 죽인 뭐
멀리.
괴물 같은 건?
and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
기차 아니야?
I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
야, 기차 찍었네. 아, 진짜 씨.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
기차를 괴물이라고 생각하다가 용기 나갔는데 기차에 죽었네요. 좀
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
걷어. 붙여놓은 사진이군요. 들어. 자, 응.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
뭐지?
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two,
야, 빨리 가라. 기차 올라.
I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
월터. 뭐야? 기저귀를 끊어줬군요.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
저주를 풀러왔나?
But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
뭐지?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
저한테 말을 거네요. 주인공이.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
저로 올라가라는 거겠지?
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
공포 게임 맞습니다. 공포 분위기 게임이에요. 속아서 샀네. 어휴.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
여기를 왜 온 거죠? 아, 내려가는 길이 있구나.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
애완동물.
3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
아, 잘못으로 강아지들을 죽인 적이 있군요.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
월터 핀치, 바바라 핀치, 에디 핀치, 스벤 핀치, 칼빈 핀치, 몰리 핀치. 다 죽은 이유들이 여기 다 있구나, 이렇게.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
아, 그 바다배, 아, 그 뭐죠? 그거구나. 그 배에 띄운 집. 진짜 있네 저기. 실존할 줄이야 저게.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
샘 핀치.
Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
다 죽었어 애들이.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
애들이 일찍 뭐
There's
일찍
so
죽는
many
저주가
things
있는
I wish I
건가?
could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along.
아니면 조금 있다
For me to come
정신병이 있는
back
건가?
someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing,
잠깐만 이거 갈 수 있는 거 맞아?
I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
임신 22주라고요? 17살인데? 응? 17살인데 얘도 정상은 아니군요.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
아, 이 할아버지 불안하게 생겼다. 쌤, 자, 무슨 또 사연이 있는지 봅시다. 응?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
뭐야?
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
사진 뭐 찍을 게 있나?
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
뭔가 이상한 게 있지 않을까요? 갑자기? 뭐 없나?
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Huh?
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely... Hey!
우리 사는 거.
Nothing quite like being outside. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
헌팅 시즌이 있군요. 총
Last
맞는
time
거
I
아니야
was with
또?
my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of it.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don!
어우. 아, 우는군요.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
아이고. 아, 내가 컨트롤해서 저로 가는 거구나.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
빨리 가, 빨리 가, 빨리 가.
Hang on, kiddo. Just trying to get a shot of the two of us together.
아, 둘이 같이 나란히 있어줘야 되나 보네요.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so-
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about.
Dad!
어? 아니, 이렇게? 이렇게 가셨군요,
Of all
또.
these
아,
stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
33살에 33살에 아니 무슨 아니 좀 사슴 딸내미가 잡은 거 자랑하려다가 50년 태어나서 83년에 죽었으면 33살이잖아요.
Sam
미치겠다
spent his
진짜.
life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
카메라 아이고
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
이사슴이군요, 이사슴. 혼자는 못 죽는다. 뭐 희한한 것들이 많은데 다른 건 없네요. 야, 참 하여튼 사람 어떻게 죽을지 몰라 진짜. 조심해야 돼요 진짜로.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
얘는 애기 아니야? 뭐야?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
우리가 보지 못한 걸 아기가 본 거. 아 근데 뭔가 분위기는 무서운데 사실상 좀 웃긴데? 아 진짜 초능력 있나요? 야 오리가 움직이네요?
on, sweetie.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
쟤는 왜 안 터뜨려져, 그치?
It reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
오이?
Whatever it was he saw.
뭡니까 이거? 힐링이 되는데? 아?
Sure made him happy.
어? 아, 힐링이 됩니다. 힐링 게임 맞네요.
I know how silly it sounds.
야, 이거 세제 아니야 이거? 응?
But I worried about a baby.
야, 이거 세제잖아.
But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
뭡니까 이거? 빠세.
About the world he saw.
안 돼. 안 돼. 어우.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory.
아, 되게 슬픈 일인데 되게. 근데 애기를 욕조에 넣어놓고 저렇게 뭐 저런 엄마가 다 있어? 말이 안 되는.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
아니, 애기는 진짜 뭐지? 되게 얕은 물에도 익사할 수 있는데.
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
어이가 없네요. 한 살이야, 한 살. 와, 진짜. 화나, 진짜. 아우.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet.
거스를 위한 시.
Who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
항상 결혼식은 나쁜
Our
생각이라고.
father never hit us kids, at least not very hard.
우리 아버지는 우리 때리지 않았다. 세게 때리지는 않았다. 무심한 10대의 느낌으로 대응장에 말했다.
See a wedding in our yard.
연이군요.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
오. 아이고, 어렵네.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
이쪽으로 가볼까? 뭐 있나요?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
거부하고 가운데 손가락을 들어. 아니 아빠한테 법규를?
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
설마 날아가진 않겠지? 오, 왜 이래?
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
오, 저 뭐야?
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music
나 번개
louder."
맞나 보다. 번개 맞나 보다. 아, 나 번개 맞나 봐. 오. 어? 뭐야? 뭐죠?
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
거스도 열 몇 살에 죽었네? 지금 13살? 아니 이 집안 정말 버라이어티하군요. 저연이야. 또 뭐지? 설마?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
다락으로 방을 옮겼다고요? 엄마?
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
아 근데 되게 다들 가족들한테 되게 관심이 없어. 죽든 말든. 되게.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
사고 날 만한 짓을 해도 가족들이 별로 관심이 없네요. 뭐지? 왔던 길인데? 아, 뭔가 있을 것 같은데요? 안 되고. 다시 올라가 볼까? 다시 한번 올라가 볼게요. 뭔가 위에 있을 것 같아. 아 여기 있었구나.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
올라가는 길, 내려가는 길. 내려가는 길 먼저. 아우, 막혔군요. 올라갑시다.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
자, 가지고.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
우리 가족 이야기. 사실이냐, 소설이냐, 뭐 그런 것도 써. 책인가 보군요. 뭐,
But it didn't last.
오래 가지 않았다.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
밀턴의 성을 줬다고?
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
그림이 가득한 방. 뭐야? 발자국이 모형도 있고.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
집 자체가 어떻게 보면 가족 무덤이 됐네요.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
밀턴 핀처 마법의 붓? 아. 뭐야?
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
그냥 사라졌군요, 말 그대로. 실종이네, 그냥 얘는. 근데 죽었다고 표현하지? 죽은 건가?
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
그러니까 실종이잖아요. 오빠는 실종이잖아.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
아, 못 가네요. 위로 가는 길이 또 올라가 봅시다.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
루이스.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room. except Lewis.
뭐야 이건?
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
루이스 핀치 또 봅시다.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation.
아, 약물남용.
As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
요시.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw
너무
the
위험한
same
거 아니야?
behavior. His mind began to
마음이 뭐?
wander.
아, 마음이 떠든다고?
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
저 정신이 없네요. 오른쪽 마우스로는 이거 생선하고 왼쪽 키보드는 저 사람 조정해야 되거든요. 아주 혼란스러운 걸 이렇게 표현하나 봅니다 지금. 그가 말했습니다.
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
양손 따르고 놀고 있어요
Things
지금.
that
아,
have not names.
이름 없는 것들. 바빠.
He knew it was all in his head.
이렇게
But he took it very seriously.
안 해도 되는 거 아니에요 이거? 안 할게요.
I had hoped he'd find himself.
해야 되나? 너 일은 해야지 그래도.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
성주 공장에서
I spoke
공상.
with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
아, 너 너무 좀 저 손가락 넣는 거 아니야 갑자기?
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play.
머릿속 공상이
Think
점점
about starting a band.
일하는 걸 가리고 있어.
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
상상력이 매일 강력해졌다. 원래?
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
문득 생각하지 마.
that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
아, 바빠.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
왜 그러죠? 머릿속에서 지금 다
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
멋있는 여왕?
handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
빛나는 무지개.
radiant rainbows.
뭐가 나올까? 오, 무지개.
He followed the sound of her
큰 하프.
silver harp.
아, 은하프구나.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
아이고, 고등어 싸요 이렇게.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him. that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
아, 그래서 고등어 캔이 그렇게 많았구나
My
처음에.
imagination is as real as my body,
연어인가요?
he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
응?
We began to forget the world we know.
와,
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
핀치네. 어떻게 되는 거지? 올라가는 건가?
I still thought I could save him.
아, 설마.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
아, 자기가 지금 이렇게 하는 거예요?
The palace would be packed with his companions.
와, 정신병 답이 없네요 진짜. 컨베이어 벨트 타고 지금 왕이지기지 가는 거야 지금?
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
근데 게임이 생각보다 허술하지 않아. 이런 3D 만든 것도 그렇고 나름 퀄리티가 좋네요. 단두대 아니냐 이거? 단두대.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
아, 좀 게임 좋아했나 봅니다. 저 WASD만 키보드 저렇게 바꾼 거 보니까 게이밍 키보드인데 살짝.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
게임에서 많이 죽었다고? 나랑 비슷하구나.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
그래서 갑자기 짐 싸라 그러지?
She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
남고 싶었다.
But I understand why we left.
집이 좀 아깝긴 하네. 집이 좀 아깝긴 한데 가족들이 다 죽어 나가니 뭐
My
어쩔 수
mom ended
없죠.
up leaving everything behind.
있기 싫은 거겠지 뭐.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
어쩔 수 없었다고?
Maybe I should have come sooner.
뭘까?
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
에디스네. 자 봅시다. 칼? 아 칼인 줄 알았네요. 아 깃털?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
뭐지? 복도에 선물이 있다고 일단?
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
나름 또 근데 게임이 나름 몰입도가 있네요. 궁금해.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
히스토리.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only
뭐지?
time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
가는 거야?
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
자초한 집에 뭔가 비밀이 있나
There'd been
보군요.
an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
아, 물이 쭉 빠졌어요.
God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
뭐지?
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
헛것이 보이기.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
뭐야? 아, 다 와가는군요.
Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
아, 다 못 읽었군요. 아,
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
아, 중요한 책 뒤를 못 봤네.
The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
아, 요양원 가려고 했는데 사라지셨구나.
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
아이고.
The last Finch left alive.
다 죽었어.
Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes and appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
뭐지?
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
뭐야? 다 죽었잖아 그럼 결국에. 이거는 그냥 옛날 어릴 때 사진인 것 같네요. 제작자들의. 뭔가 좀 멍하네. 좀 이상하네요, 느낌이. 이거 말로 스토리가 뭔가 좀 해석이 좀 있으면 좋겠어. 뭐지? 왜 다 결국에 마지막 책을 못 봤잖아요. 마지막 반쪽 책을 못 봤잖아. 그래도 약간 뭐라 해야 되나? 좀 슬픈 일인데 캐릭터들의 죽음을 좀 이게 코믹하게 하려고 만든 거. 어린애인데 총 가지고 있네. 예, 그런 거는 약간 괜찮았던 것 같은데 뭐 글쎄요, 이걸 뭐라고 표현해야 되나? 이상한 감정이 드네. 루이스 핀치 2010년. 아이고,